Hi, welcome to my channel, JaberTime. We're going to go over solving radical equations, extraneous solutions, and some examples. Let's get started. Extraneous solutions. Raising both sides of the equation to a power when solving may introduce extraneous solutions. To eliminate extraneous solutions, it is necessary to substitute solutions and check your work into the original equation to see whether it results in a true statement or not. Here's the first example. Square root of 3x equals 6. This is a quick, simple example. We're going to square both sides. That will cancel the square root, and that will give you 36. We're going to divide by 3, and 3 would cancel, and we'll get x equals 12. Let's check our answer. We take the original equation, we plug in 12 for x. 3 times 12 is 36, and square root of 36 is 6, and that is true. So the idea of solving radical equations is to eliminate the square root or the cubic root or whatever we have, then get rid of it. For square root, we're going to square both sides. For cubic root, we're going to cube both sides. Let's take another example. It's already separated, as you could see, and it's a fourth root. So we're going to raise both sides to the power 4 to cancel the fourth root on the left. 2 to the power 4 is 16. We're going to add 1 to both sides to eliminate and leave x alone. Once you do that, I get 17 on the side, and on the left side 5x. We're going to divide by 5, and we get 17 over 5 as an answer. We need to check as a habit. It's a good habit for square roots and when we square both sides. Now here's the equation. We're going to plug in 17 over 5 into x. Once you do that, 5 cancels, which is good. Inside I will have 17 minus 1, which gives me 16. And the fourth root of 16 is 2, because 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Okay, we're done. One more. Now, in this example, it's a little bit different. The cubic root is not separated by itself, so we need to leave it alone by itself, isolate the cubic root before we cube both sides. So we're gonna start solving by subtracting 5 from both sides. I get 1 minus 5, which is negative 4, and this cancels. We're gonna get rid of the 2, divide by 2 both sides. That's a minus 2 right there. Now we're ready. We're going to cube both sides. And negative 2 to the third is negative 8. And the 3 with the power 3 with the cubic root will cancel. So I get x equals negative 8. Let's check. Here's the equation. We're going to plug in negative 8 right there. So negative 8 to the power 1/3 or cubic root will give you negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, and 5, which is 1. Done. It's a lot of steps, but if you follow me, I think we should be fine. I'm trying to save you some time from recording as I'm writing. So I have all the notes written before recording. Let's take another example. This case, we have the square root, but negative 7 is next to it. We're gonna have to get rid of negative 7 by adding 7 to both sides. So let's do that. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2. And now I have the square root by itself. We're gonna square both sides. That's gonna give me a 4, and that's gonna cancel the square root. Then x minus 1 equals 4. We're gonna add 1 to both sides to solve for x as a first step. Now I have 10x equals 5 divided by 10 divided by 10, and x equals half. Let's check. We're gonna take the original equation, or actually I could take this one right there instead of this right here, and plug in half. Let's plug in half. This is the same as this. I did not square it yet, so we could use this instead. Half inside, 10 times half will give me 5. 5 minus 1 will give me 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Yes, so we're good. Let's take another example. This time the square root is on the right side, but doesn't make any difference. We're gonna square both sides. It's ready. Nothing is next to it to eliminate or get rid of. Square both sides. That's gonna cancel the square root, and that's gonna be squared. 3 plus x to the second. It's like a plus b to the second. So it's gonna give you 3 terms. You could use the box idea. You could use distributive, but because this is a video for quadratic, I'm not taking the whole time for distributive property and multiplying. It is displayed in different videos. So let's move on. If you take your time and multiply 3 plus x times 3 plus x, you're gonna get 9 plus 6x plus x squared, and that will cancel the square root. Now we need everything on one side, so we're gonna subtract 4x from both sides. We're gonna subtract 9 from both sides. Let's do that 2 steps in one and save some time. Right hand side becomes 0, and left hand side we need this cancels, and this will give me 2x, and this will go down. So that's what I have. Now I don't need to write the 0, and I could rearrange at the same time x squared to be in the front. I have x squared plus 2x equals 0. I could factor 1x out because they both have x's. It's called a common factor. So let's take the x out. Solving this equal to 0, that will imply either x equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. So I have 2 options. In this case, subtract 2 from both sides. That will give you x equals -2. So I have 2 answers, 0 and -2. Let's check both answers right here. Let's take the 0. We take the original equation, we plug in 0 for x, and simplify to the best that we can. That's a 0. 9 by itself. Square root of 9 is 3. Yes, that is 3. Let's go for x equals -2. For x equals -2, go back to the original equation, plug in -2, and simplify. 4 times -2 is -8. -8 plus 9 is 1. 3 plus -2 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Yes. So both answers are accurate and correct. Let's take another example. Again, this one is separated, so it's ready to be squared on both sides. We'll do that. Right hand side will cancel. This one here, you may need to multiply 2x minus 2 times 2x minus 2 by distributive property, FOIL method, box idea, or rectangular idea, whatever you want. I did the math and I got 4x to the second minus 8x plus 4. This cancels right there, so no more square root. We're gonna move everything to one side like before. We're gonna subtract x and subtract 2 from both sides. Let's do that in one step. Right side becomes 0. Left side is 4x squared minus 9x plus 4. Let's factor it. X times 4x will give me 4x squared. Minus 2 times minus 1 is positive 2. The in part is minus 8x, and the outside part is minus 1x, which adds up to minus 9x, so we're good. Either x minus 2 equals 0 or 4x minus 1 equals 0. Add 2, here add 1, and divide by 4, divide by 4. I get 2 answers, 2 and 1/4. We need to double check. Let's check the first one, the 2. Go back to the equation, plug in 2. 2 times 2 minus 2, it's 4 minus 2, which is 2. Square root of 4. 2 equals 2, and we're done. Let's take the 1/4. Go back to the equation and plug in 1/4. I have 2 times 1/4, which is 2 over 4, or 1/2. And we have 1/4 here plus 2. Let's combine these with common denominator. Writing 2 as 2 over 1, multiply by 2 by 2, multiply by 4, I get, let's see what I have here. Okay, let's simplify this first. I have it simplified, 1/2 instead of 2/4. Now the common denominator is 2. 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2. I know there's a subtraction here, but I'm not saying it. Multiply by 2, you get 4 over 2. That's the same thing as 2. 1 minus 4 is -3. So I have -3 over 2. Square root of 9 over 4, which is positive 3 over 2. Which is not the same as -3 over 2 on the left. So 1/4 is not a solution. It's called extraneous solution. It occurred by, or happened by, squaring both sides right here. So what do we say? We say that the solution x equals 1/4 is an extraneous solution, and there is only one solution, which is x equals 2. Okay, that should do it for this problem. Let's move on to another example. This is a cubic root, so we need to raise both sides to the power 3. That will cancel the cubic root, and on the left x cubed. Let's move everything to the left one side. Let's factor x out. They all have x's. And let's factor x squared minus 2x minus 8. It factors 2x plus 2 and x minus 4. We could double check. Minus 4 times 2 is minus 8. X times x is x to the second. We have n, 2x out minus 4x, which simplifies to minus 2x. So we're good. So 3 answers. Once you set it equal to 0, the principle of zero products will give you x equals 0, or x equals -2 from here, or x equals 4 from here. We're going to check the 3 answers. X equals 0. Plug in 0 everywhere. It's going to be quick to plug in 0, and it's going to verify quick also. X equals -2. Plug it in everywhere. There is an x. Simplify, and I get, I'm skipping the steps because it's kind of hard to read all these numbers. When I save some time, you could always pause the video and look at the steps. It ends up cubic root of -8 on the right side equals -2, which is true. X equals 4 now, the last one. Plug in 4 everywhere. Simplify. Take your time. Square root of 64 is 4, and also it's a true answer, a correct answer. 3 answers are accurate. We're going to square both sides. 3x minus 5. Left side becomes 3x minus 5, and the right side becomes 1. That's a simple, quick one. Add 5 to both sides. 3x equals 6, divide by 3, which is 2. Check our answer. Plug it in where x is, question mark on the equal sign. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 5 is 1, works also. One more. Square root of x plus 8 equals -1. We're going to square both sides. We're going to minus 1 to the second is 1. X plus 8 square root will cancel. Subtract 8 from both sides. I get x equals -7. Let's check our answer. Go back and plug in -7. 8 and -7 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. But that's not equal to -1 on the right side. So that's not an accurate answer. We have no solution. What's going on here is, if you want to use a graphing calculator and you want to call this one y1 and you want to call this one y2, that's one way to do it. Graph this and see where they intersect, and that will be the solution, solving by graphing. And if you do the graph of this, shift it to the left 8 units square root, it's going to start from -8 and goes this way. Y equals -2 is down below. They're not going to intersect. They're not going to meet. That's why there is no solution. Or differently, I could say the square root equals -1. We're saying square root equals negative. Square root cannot be negative. So from the beginning, we could tell that there is no solution. Here's another example. So that's what we call it always, extraneous solution. It happened because I squared both sides and I changed the -1 to 1. X minus square root of x equals 2. This is a different one. This is not only a square root by itself, but it has another term. So how do you do it? Well, we're gonna eliminate and leave the square root by itself. Here we go. We're gonna subtract x from both sides. And now I have the square root by itself. I could multiply by -1. So I could make it positive, and this also becomes positive. Let's do that. So I do have a positive square root equals positive x minus 2 now. Let's square both sides. Left side, the square root and the square cancels. Right side, you need to multiply x minus 2 times x minus 2 using the FOIL method or distributive property or the rectangular method. So I end up x squared minus 4x plus 4. Let's move everything to one side and cancel the x from the left. I get minus 5x right there. Factor it. X minus 4 times x minus 1. Get two answers, 4 and 1. Let's check. 4. Plug it in. That's a 4 minus square root of 4 equals 2 with a question mark. 4 minus 2 is 2. It checks. X equals 1. We're going to plug in 1 in the equation. Now 1 minus square root of 1 is 0. It's like 1 minus 1, which is not equal to the right side 2. So the solution x equals 1, this right here is an extraneous solution. There is only one solution, which is x equals 4. And that should do it for this video. It's about 20 minutes of recording. I tried my best not to make it 45 minutes. It's a lot of writings, and that's my way of doing it. Show you more examples and less time. Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.